It's presented underneath the triumphant Sieur de Maisonneuve. So this statue is pretty much considered quite racist, and it even gets worse.
As a self-professed expert on Montreal's hidden histories, Donovan King's tours normally deal with ghostly fanfare. Today, we're exploring a scarier reality, monuments celebrating Quebec's violent colonial past, like this one at the tourist epicenter of the city.
This is called the Exploit de la Place d'Armes. It's a French legend. We don't know how much validity or truth there is to this, but in a nutshell, they say that the Sieur de Maisonneuve single-handedly blew the head off of the Mohawk leader here in this exact area. So again, they're celebrating genocide on a statue in a public square. This is really unacceptable in the age of truth and reconciliation.
Which is why for years this Irish Montrealer made it a mission to confront colonial realities lost to history and otherwise ignored in official city tours.
They never taught us we're on Mohawk territory. They never taught us how to do a territorial acknowledgement. They didn't teach us any Mohawk vocabulary, any indigenous perspectives. We never visited Ganawage. We never had a First Nations speaker in the class. There's a lot of denial, a lot of white fragility happening, and that has to change.
And slowly, things are.
Aujourd'hui, on change le nom d'une rue qui était très contestée, qui était polémique, avec laquelle il y avait un malaise pour les Montréalais, Montréalaises.
After a decade of prodding, last week the city of Montreal stripped the name of British General Jeffrey Amherst from a downtown street, changing it to Adadega, a Mohawk word signifying brotherhood between nations.
That is an awakening of the senses and the mind of people to say that we need to try and correct things, or at least to explain why there's needs to change.
In 1763, during the Pontiac War, Amherst ordered 2 smallpox-infested blankets and a handkerchief be gifted to native tribes in order to neutralize and obliterate them.
Ce qui s'est passé, par exemple, avec Amherst était absolument, je veux dire, inimaginable, horrible, mais ça s'est quand même passé. Alors, il ne faut pas non plus effacer l'histoire. Moi, je suis plutôt en faveur de créer des dialogues.
A statement Donovan saw as an invitation to continue pointing out problematic landmarks for the mayor's consideration.
You see a lot of the statues are being attacked with paint, and this just happens so often nowadays that it's not even reported in the news, and so clearly something has to be done.
Montreal is the only North American city with a monopoly of tour guides. When Bylaw G2 was introduced during Expo 67, it mandated all licensed guides to stick to a script glorifying New France and founding fathers like Jacques Cartier, whose imposing bronze likeness towers over this park in St. Henry.
He's standing on a stump to signify the land that has yet to be cleared, and he's also surrounded by 4 disembodied Aboriginal heads, which of course signifies the genocide that's still ongoing here. And so this is a very racist statue, and quite frankly, I don't think anyone within the settler society would tolerate having their own disembodied heads on a statue spitting out water.
The same city-sanctioned script, he says, all but ignores Indigenous peoples, some of whom are buried here beneath Place du Canada and its statue of John A. Macdonald.
John A. Macdonald was responsible for genocide. He did it out in the plains through famine. He also did it through the residential schools. So this guy does not belong on Montreal's landscape.
But unlike other Canadian cities, Montreal currently has no plans to remove it.
This is revisionist history. That's the problem people don't realize, is that, this type of history that's glorifying genocide is revisionist.
Which, for Donovan, is all the more reason to push for truth in the era of reconciliation.
Georges-Étienne Cartier was no John A. Macdonald, who was more in favor of genocide and white supremacy.
Lindsay Richardson, APTN National News, Montreal.